Number 12, solve the equation, and we have 1 over 3y minus 2 equals 3 over 4y plus 1. So again, we're dealing with an equation, and so in this case, at the end of all of our work, since this is an equation, we should have y equals some number. So our goal here with number 12 is to get a positive y all by itself on one side of the equal sign and everything else on the other. And so we can do this in several ways. I'm going to go ahead and start well, I guess I'll rewrite this whole equation first so that we can start manipulating it. So 3 over 4y plus 1. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is add 2 to both sides because I'm going to try to solve for y on the left. I'm going to get y on the left and everything else on the right side of the equal sign. So adding 2 to both sides, well, that gets rid of the 2 here, and so we're left with 1 over 3y equals 3 over 4y plus, well, positive 1 plus 2 gives us 3. All right, if I want the y's on one side and everything else on the other, I'm going to move this 3 over 4y to the other side, and I'll do that by subtracting it from both sides. All right, and so we'll finish over here. On the right-hand side here, this goes away, and so we end up with 1 over 3y minus 3 over 4y equals 3. Now here on the left, these are like terms, and so we can combine them. And when we combine them, we're going to pay attention to the coefficient here, the numbers in front of the y. So we have 1 over 3 minus 3 over 4. So let's go ahead and deal with this on its own, kind of off to the side. We know when we add and subtract fractions, we need a common denominator. And looking at our denominators here, we have a 3 and a 4, and so we're looking for the LCM, the least common multiple, and between a 3 and a 4, that's going to be 12, I think, right? So in order to get this 3 to a 12, we've got to multiply it by 4, and whatever we multiply the bottom by, we have to multiply the top by. And to get this 4 to a 12, we've got to multiply it by 3, and whatever we multiply the bottom by, we multiply the top by. And so what we have is, well, 4 times 1 gives us 4, 4 times 3 gives us 12, minus 3 times 3 gives us 9, 4 times 3 gives us 12. And now that we have a common denominator, both our denominators are 12, that common denominator simply moves over, and that lets us perform the indicated operation with our numerators. And so in this case, 4 minus 9 is negative 5. So the coefficient of our y term here on the left is going to be negative 5 over 12. So negative 5 over 12y equals positive 3. And let me kind of section this off a little bit. All right, well, we still haven't solved for y. We want y all by itself. So we have to get rid of this negative 5 over 12. And we can do that in one of two ways. We can either divide both sides by negative 5 over 12, or we can multiply both sides by the reciprocal of this coefficient. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 12 over 5. So by negative 12 over 5. So again, I'm not changing the sign here. This was negative 5 over 12. I'm multiplying by negative 12 over 5. So the only thing I did was flip the numerator and denominator, but I'm keeping that negative sign. Here on the left, negative 12 over 5 cancels with negative 5 over 12, and we're left with just a positive y equals, and here on the right, 3 times negative 12 is negative 36 over 5, right? Because remember, this is really 3 over 1, and when we multiply fractions, we do numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator, and so 3 times negative 12 is negative 36, 1 times 5 is 5, and so here we have it, our final answer for number 12, y equals negative 36 over 5.